Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back. If you already know what is going on, 30 days of Loc Tips challenge. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad you decided to click on this video, get some tips for your journey. If you don't know me, I'm Glamorous, aka Locked and Vegan, aka everything locked and vegan, which is why I'm doing 30 days Loc Tips, 30 days vegan tips. Please like, comment, share, join me on this journey. Make sure you're commenting if you have any questions that you'd like me to address during these challenges. And make sure you subscribe and turn on post notifications so you know when I'm dropping each day's challenge, okay? Let's get into it. This one's gonna be pretty quick and straightforward. This is a pretty simple tip, and this is what works for me. I'm an advocate for everything and anything to avoid thinning locks, because I don't want that to happen to you. So I want to do what I can to help you with your journey by giving tips on how to avoid going down that path. Tip number 3 for Loc Tips is to stay consistent with your retwist. I know some people are like, oh, I want to get my retwists every 2 weeks, or some people are like, no, I've only retwisted my hair like twice out of the year, once out of the year, every other year. This is more based on what look you like for your locks. I just recommend staying consistent with your retwist, meaning if you've been getting your retwist for the past 3 months every 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden you wait like 2 months to get your retwist, and that can cause like some thinning because you're consistently doing this pattern of retwisting your locks and adding that new growth, and then all of a sudden you wait too long and your hair grows out too much, and then it's not consistent with how much new growth you're adding to that lock. I hope that made sense the way I explained that. Your consistency of retwists will change as your locks mature. So like in the beginning stages, you might want to retwist your hair more often so that it doesn't loosen up. When I started my locks in my first like 5-6 months, I was retwisting like every 2 weeks, just because I was washing my hair every 2 weeks, and every time I wanted to wash my hair would like loosen up, and I didn't want to lose anything, any parts or anything, so I would have to like retwist it. It doesn't have to be like a super tight retwist where you go to the salon and you get it gelled down. A lot of the times, like, I would just do oil and just part it with my hands, but as long as you're being consistent with the time frame. So then as my locks started to mature, I wasn't retwisting my hair. It was maybe every 3 weeks. It kind of gradually went like longer, so it was actually like 3 weeks, and then it was a month, and then it was like 2-3 months I was going without retwisting my hair, and that was okay because my hair didn't need it because it matured and I was comfortable with my frizz. Like, I loved my frizz. I didn't want to get rid of that so quickly, you know what I'm saying? As you mature, you don't want to retwist your hair every 2 weeks or even every month. It might be a little bit too much, but of course, again, it depends. Like, my hair is looser, so my loctician was saying that as my hair was still maturing, about like maybe a year ago, she was like, you might still want to do like every month of a retwist. So again, this goes along the lines of not wanting to put too much tension on your locks. So as your locks are forming, they're maturing, you don't want to retwist them as often, because too much retwisting, especially like getting it done at the salon where they're doing the tight combing and the gels because they want it to look good, of course, that can be really strenuous on your locks, especially your roots. Your roots are super, super important because they're what's forming what's going to be longer in the long run, you know what I'm saying? So you don't want to pull too tight too often, do your edges too often, because again, it's going to be pulling on your roots, it's going to be pulling on your edges, and again, that can also thin out your locks. So inconsistent retwists and retwisting too often can thin out your locks, and that's no bueno. We don't want that. It's not necessary and it can be avoided. Would not recommend every single retwist be from your loctician. Like, say I might go to my loctician every 3 months, but I still consistently retwist my hair every month, but those months in between, I'm not going to my loctician. I'm just doing with my fingers and just oil. Nothing too strenuous, nothing too tight, nothing that's pulling on my edges. Also might change with like your schedule. You kind of have to see how it goes. If you're a person that's in the gym a lot, or you sweat a lot, you do a lot of athletics, and you might wash your hair more often, then you might want to look at retwisting a little bit more often. Again, of course, if you're more mature, then it's still maybe like 3 weeks at the earliest. So a big factor is your schedule, or what you do on a day-to-day basis. If you're a person that doesn't really do anything too crazy, where your hair is getting all frizzy or you're sweating a lot, then you could go like some months without a retwist. My biggest suggestion is just to keep consistent with your retwist. If it's every 6 months, it's every 6 months, but just make sure that you get on that rhythm, because you'll create like the same kind of coil or the same pattern as your hair grows out. So that's what is a big factor in making it strong, because there's no inconsistencies that might be a little bit more thin or might have the fear of being thinned out. Like everything is the same. That's my suggestion. And again, if you're like not sure how long you should be retwisting your hair, I always say the more you wait, the better. The longer you wait, the better, because your locks aren't meant to be retwisted all the time. They're not meant to be retwisted, you know, every time your hair gets a little bit frizzy or every time you get some new growth. Your hair is meant to be free. Your hair is meant for you to embrace the frizz. It doesn't need to be perfect and always manipulated and always like touched up. They're your locks. The whole point is to just be. That's my quick tip for day 3. Now I gotta get to class, so I shall see you next time. I also hope you guys, I got a retwist yesterday, so I'm trying to keep it, you know, nice and tight for my birthday this weekend. I really like the bow on top. I thought that was super cute. So peace and love, glam fam.